Yo, what's going on guys? I'm Maze. And for the 22 years of the Pokemon anime, our main protagonist Ketchum has caught a total of 87 Pokemon, which within the Pokemon community, it's always debated which of these Pokemon are the worst, most decent, and the best. Which today, I am wanting to tackle that topic for myself. Welcome to ranking every Ketchum Pokemon from worst to best. Disclaimer, this ranking will be based on my own personal opinions, nor will I be ranking these Pokemon based on strength, but rather how much enjoyment I had with each of these Pokemon. So if you don't agree with a certain placement, then that's why. Although, I'd appreciate it if you can at least respect my opinions, in which I will respect yours in the comments down below like always. I'd actually love to hear your personal rankings. But with that said, that's all I have to say for this intro now. So, let's not waste any more time and jump right into this. Let's go! Starting this list off at number 51 and 50, we have Raticate and Beedrill. And yes, if you're confused right now, Ash did indeed own these Pokemon. He had obtained Raticate in a trade for his Butterfree, before ultimately asking for his Butterfree back after 5 minutes of regret, and he had caught Beedrill in a bull catching contest, which after winning the contest, he gave this Beedrill to his friend Casey. So, because the very little screen time these Pokemon received under the ownership of Ash, that is the reason why I'm classing them as the worst Ketchum Pokemon for this list. If you don't want to count these Pokemon though, then number 49, Palpitoad, is who I believe is the worst Ketchum Pokemon. Like bro, what was the point of Ketchum Palpitoad if it was barely going to be shown on screen? It only having 4 battles in the entire series, which each one went by so quickly as well that it couldn't leave any impact on you, along with its personality, it pretty much having none. Like, this is why I have a problem of catching more than 5 Pokemon, as it just leaves some without getting the screen time they deserve. So, because of this, unfortunately, Palpitoad is the worst Pokemon here. Coming in at number 48, we have Primeape. Now, although this Pokemon is very low on this list, I don't actually dislike the Pokemon. I found it pretty funny in its debut episode, and it had a smashing second episode. Though that second episode was its last episode ever outside of flashbacks. So much like the other 3 Pokemon we've gone over so far, this Pokemon couldn't leave a bigger impact on me unfortunately. Now, whereas number 47 Lapras, number 46 Tauros, and number 45 Boulder had more screen time than all the other Pokemon I've gone over so far, they were pretty forgettable for me. Lapras was just a boring ride Pokemon, Tauros I only remember once Ash visits Professor Oak's lab, and Boulder, well, it's hard to give a personality to a legitimate rock. So, it's no surprise that I just forget Boulder exists. At number 44, we have Glalie, which, thanks to it being caught before the final gym battle in Hoenn, it suffered from low screen time, but I just forget it exists. Even though, upon rewatching its league battles, it performed amazingly. But still, it's overall a pretty forgettable Pokemon because of how late it was captured. It definitely deserved better. Alright, we're past a majority of the low screen time and forgettable Pokemon now. So coming in at number 43, we have Torkoal. Oh boy. Now, whereas I will admit it has a very distinctive personality compared to all of Ash's other Pokemon, which I can at least appreciate because it's different, I just don't like that personality. It often annoyed me. Not only that, but Torkoal has a horrible win ratio, which makes it hard to even think of one memorable moment it had. So yeah, this Pokemon is nothing but tiresome to me. These next 2 spots are probably going to be controversial, as at number 42 I have Butterfree, and at number 41 I have Pidgeot. Like, don't get me wrong, these Pokemon had great one-off moments, which for Butterfree that was its release episode due to being so sad, and for Pidgeot it was also its release episode, but not because of the emotion, but rather the epic moment where it evolved. But outside of that, these Pokemon literally have no memorable moments whatsoever, both losing a lot of battles as well, and not really having a personality that isn't just loyalty towards Ash. So yeah. Jumping into the number 40 spot, we have Vaporeon, which because it was traded for Breezel, I'll only be talking about its time with Ash, which I guess was okay. I mean, Vaporeon did make me smile with its humor, and I do remember it having a pretty decent battle against Rock, but outside of that, I don't know, this Pokemon wasn't too special. Up next for number 39, we have Kingler, while for number 38, we have Muk, and at number 37, we have Unpheasant, which these three Pokemon are the last bunch of forgettable and low screen time Pokemon. Let's face the facts. The only reason we like Kingler is because of the surprising power it showcased in the Indigo League, despite Ash never using the Pokemon for a battle beforehand. It was just so amusing, yet also spectacular. But outside of that, we have a Pokemon which was, yet again, never used. Moving on to Muk, it was kinda similar in a sense to Kingler. His first battle being in the league against the Bellsprout, which that was definitely hysterical, but after that it only had like 2 battles. But what makes me like Muk more is the fact it had that lovable, affectionate personality. It just makes me smile every time I see it on screen. How could you not? Finally, for Unpheasant, I feel like this bird may get a little bit too much hate. It wasn't that bad. I mean, yes, its personality was boring, but so is almost every Ash Ketchum bird. And yes, it wasn't the greatest in battles either, but I'm not gonna lie, I particularly enjoyed its battle against Skylar Swanner. That was surprisingly really entertaining to me, but maybe that's because I have a soft spot for air battles. They're so awesome to me because of the rapid speed being shown, and sometimes even the unique moves. Sliding into the number 36 spot is Poipole. Poipole, to me, is a good example of a Pokemon that had so much potential, yet it got wasted for one reason or another. First of all, it was a goddamn Ultra Beast. Yet, Ash and Poipole only ever had one official battle together, which is very disappointing, as Ultra Beasts are some of the most powerful Pokemon ever, which I'm sure Ash would have been able to train Poipole to attain that power. Just imagine if Poipole evolved as well. That would have been epic to say the least. But instead of battling, we instead received non-stop moments of Poipole harassing Pikachu, which I guess was cute at times, but outside of that, the story this overall character had as well ended up being quite underwhelming to me. That basically being that it had to find a new home for its family. Like, the constant advertising and plot foreshadowing this Pokemon had made it seem like it would have a bigger role, you know? Not just something as simple as that. I hope I'm not the only one who expected a lot more in that sense. But yeah, that's my main reasons for why I found Poipole to be a bit of a letdown. I mean, don't get me wrong, again, it was cute, and its personality was quite amusing to watch. I seem to like a lot of hyperactive Ash and Ash's companion Pokemon, but everything else about this Pokemon just makes me sigh due to the fact it could have been something far greater. After Poipole had been released in Season 2 of Sun and Moon, we got introduced to Melton within Season 3, which Melton, at this moment in time, is indeed number 35 on this list. I mean, sure, if you're watching this video at the time it was released, it's only had 4 episode focuses and been in the series for 12 episodes, but I can't help but appreciate this Pokemon more than Poipole already. And why that is mainly because it actually feels like an Ash Pokemon as opposed to Poipole. Like, think about it. What was the point of Ash capturing Poipole if the writers were not going to make it compete in battles? Which battles are a huge factor regarding Ash's character. Poipole could have easily been a Pokemon like Nebby and it wouldn't change a thing. AKA, not be caught, but Ash at least takes care of it. It was like the writers were just setting up for myself and many other fans to feel disappointment, as when you see Ash catch a Pokemon, you expect it to help him in many battles, not just one. But ever since Melton was caught, who seems like it will have a similar role to Poipo due to being a special Pokemon, it was just a huge improvement already because it has already competed in a few battles, it actually feeling like an Ash Pokemon. Hell, future development for its battles has already been set up as well, aka it seems to ignore Ash's commands at some points, which the two need to work on, and I admire that. If I'm to put the fact it feels like an Ash Pokemon aside, its adorable personality and looks, relationship with Rowlet, humor, and battle skills is something I love about this Pokemon as well. So the fact that it feels like an Ash Pokemon isn't the only reason why I like this Pokemon. Flying into the number 34 spot is Swallow, while for the number 33 spot, we have Noctowl, which both of these Pokemon are very similar in a sense. For both flying types, they're both very loyal to Ash, they're both surprisingly quite good in battles, and they both have at least one great moment I can remember off the top of my head that I can mention, unlike some of the other Pokemon we've gone over. For Swallow, I found this battle against Winona Swallow to be fantastic, while for Noctowl, I really fancied everything we witnessed in its gym battle against Morty's Ghost-type Pokemon. Like, I just find its psychic powers to be really cool. In fact, that's the one and only reason I put this Pokemon above Swallow. But if I'm to put the neat psychic powers away, they're pretty much the same Pokemon, which is why I paired them together to talk about. Continuing on with pairs, for number 32 I have Leavanny, while for number 31 I have Donphan. They're similar in a sense because they are both very cute Pokemon in both looks and personality before evolving, still had a likable personality upon evolving, Leavanny having the better personality if I had to pick though, due to the parent trait, and finally, to be honest, they both just made me smile whenever they had a small moment to shine. So, yeah. Swooping in for that number 30 spot is Noivern. Some of you regular viewers really think I hate Noivern just because I've stated so many times on this channel how I don't like it got barely any development within the XYZ season because the writers had to wrap up everything before Sun and Moon airs, leaving a semi-rushed feeling. Which I still stand by all of that. However, after going over 20 Pokemon so far, you should be able to see that I don't actually hate this Pokemon. Like I've said, I find it adequate at best. It was so cute and lovable in both looks and personality when it was a Noibat. I really enjoyed its race episode because of the development and great visuals. Its evolution into Noivern was pretty epic. Its relationship with Hawlucha was wholesome. And despite losing every single official battle, it did have great battle skills, which I quite admired. Myself particularly liking its battle against Salamence. So, because of all of this Pokemon gets a thumbs up from me. Digging his way into the 29th spot is Gible. I feel like many people will put Gible a little higher on their personal ranking list because of its goofy personality, which I can agree that it was humorous. However, it was unfortunately caught fairly late into the Diamond Pearl series that I felt like we didn't get to see its full potential, which would have been lovely to see. Imagine if Ash had a Garchomp, oh my god. But regardless of feeling like there was wasted potential, again, this Pokemon was funny from all the shenanigans it did. Myself loving the Piplup gag the most, and it was reasonable in battles, which I liked. At least compared to Glalie though, which was a Pokemon also caught before an end of a region, this Pokemon was way more memorable, which is definitely because of that attractive personality. Climbing for the 28th spot is Torterra. This Pokemon could have been a little higher on the list if it wasn't for the fact that this Pokemon lost its charming personality upon evolving. Like bro, it was so endearing as a Turtwig, but then we get this straight-faced Torterra. But putting this disappointing factor aside, the development it gained upon evolving at least was nice. It having to deal with not being fast anymore and then learning moves such as Rock Climb, which was all nicely done. Just compared to other Pokemon on this list, there is better development I prefer. Coming in at number 27, we have Quilava, while for number 26, we have Scraggy. If I could describe these Pokemon in just one sentence, that would be that these are the most average Pokemon ever that are shown, in my opinion at least. Being average though is not a bad thing whatsoever, as these Pokemon were still tolerable to watch, from their personalities to their battle skills and their development. Just look at Cynical's neat flamethrower spin here, along with how Scraggy went from using Focus Blast at first to how it uses it now. Very nice. For number 25, I have a bit of a controversial choice, as it's the beloved Rowlet. Now, please don't take this the wrong way. I do like Rowlet, however, I feel like he isn't as special as other people make him out to be. Sure, he's a good kind of slapstick comedy, and his relaxed, lazy, sleepy personality is something many can relate with. However, very similar to Gibble, I feel like there's been wasted potential. But not because he was caught late, as obviously Rowlet was caught in the 4th episode of Sun and Moon, but rather because the anime focused so much on telling other stories in Season 2, that Rowlet was just left in the background, sleeping. Like legit, it did absolutely nothing worthwhile. And even when it finally got an episode in Season 3, that being its battle against House Dodrix, which I will admit that episode was terrific as it finally got the development it needed. After that though, it kinda got left in for dust once again, as the anime then needed to focus on other stories. I just wanna see it grow. And even when I take a look at its moments in Season 1, which is when it had a decent amount of screen time, I just don't find it as enjoyable as other Pokemon I've gone over on this list. So, yeah. But I will say it once again, that yes, he is a funny Pokemon at least, which is why he holds this spot higher than the other Pokemon I've gone over. Flying high with the number 24 spot is Staraptor, while Talonflame, the final regional bird for this list, leads all the birds with the 23rd spot. Now, although Talonflame is above Staraptor, which I might as well just say now is only because it had 2 stupendous evolution episodes I preferred, especially the second one, both of these birds are very similar. They both have impressive strength along with some of the best sky battlers ever, both have a suitable bond with Ash, and most importantly, unlike the other regional birds, a personality that doesn't just seem to be loyalty towards Ash, which was excellent to finally see within a bird. I mean, maybe if it had more personality in the first 2 forms than the last forms, but still, it was something I really appreciated. Making his way to find Bulbasaur on this list to drink its sap is Heracross, this being number 22. And wow, that was an interesting transition. Putting that transition aside though, this Pokemon, despite being a very tough Pokemon, which many people including myself have loved to watch it because of that, unfortunately, outside of that, this Pokemon received very little screen time. However, unlike the Pokemon I went over earlier that had teeny screen time, this Pokemon's vigorous strength, along with its comedy relief personality, makes up for its little screen time where we get a chance to watch it on our screen. And yes, that's a little bit weird for me to say, but hey, it definitely has more personality than Umpheasant for example, so I don't think it's that weird for me to say. One moment which really stuck out to me regarding this Pokemon, which I want to bring up for this video, is its battle against Gary's Magmar within the Johto League. Like bro, look at this, Heracross is flying through a flamethrower like it's nothing. That's incredible. Making his cool entrance much like his debut episode is Squirtle, it taking the number 21 spot. Squirtle will forever be a neat Pokemon to me, from it having an amusing personality, startling battle skills despite not being fully evolved, and having a bond with Ash which I can't help but go aww upon seeing it. Although I do like Squirtle though, much like I said in my Amino review dedicated to him, which you can check out my Amino in the description below for exclusive content, I honestly wish Squirtle kept his threatening personality upon Ash catching the Pokemon, as it could have made for an interesting arc where both it and Ash will learn to love each other, instead of having respected each other straight away, which came across as weird to me. Putting that missed potential aside, I honestly can say the exact same things I did for Squirtle for the next Pokemon on this list, which is Bulbasaur, it being number 20. To add one extra thing to Bulbasaur though, I will say that I did admire how it was one of Ash's first ever Pokemon to teach the audience that you're allowed to be whoever you wanna be, it refusing to evolve. Nicely done. It's time to bring in 2 fire types. Pignite, it being number 19, and Torracat, it being number 18. The reason why I'm pairing these two Pokemon together to talk about is because if you think about it, most of Ash's fire types have a theme of being separated from a being, which these two were. And well, both of those stories were quite depressing to watch. Torracat's though was definitely way more sad, which I think all of us watching know why. And I think I've talked plenty about that episode on this channel already. So moving aside from these separation stories, both of these Pokemon as well were very similar in terms of development, which both were quite remarkable. And finally, both of these Pokemon have very similar strength in battles as well, which I can say all of their battles were simply splendid. The reason why Torracat just stands a little bit higher than Pignite on this list though, is because of that depressing episode, along with myself thinking it has more of a charming personality. But I guess that's to be expected because Torracat is based off a cat. For these next 4 spots, I have 4 Pokemon which all share a similar theme, and I want you to try and guess that theme correctly. At number 17 we have Corphish, Totodile for number 16, Bayleaf at number 15, and Oshawott coming in at number 14. You now have a couple of seconds to think about that theme. Have you got an answer? Well, whether you do or not, the answer is that all of these Pokemon had a comedic vibe to them. Corphish being a quite brash Pokemon, which leaves it getting into some hilarious situations. Totodile always loves to dance and feels the need to bite something. Bayleaf always body slams Ash in various ways, often funny as you can tell, to show its affection. While Oshawott is pretty much all of these Pokemon combined, it being the full package. Oshawott is always wants to be the center of attention, gets into fights, always finds herself crushing on a cute female Pokemon, is a proud and boastful Pokemon, and quite gluttonous as well. Yet, although it shares a similar vibe to these other Pokemon, I can say Oshawott still does have some uniqueness from it. So, yeah. And pretty much as you can see, I love all of these Pokemon because of the comedy they provided us using their alluring personalities. Straying away from comedic relief Pokemon, we are now going to move on to calm, yet lovable Pokemon. That being Snivy at number 13, while Sceptile is number 12. Like legit, both of these Pokemon's calm, collected, respectful, prideful, and cool personalities are so pleasing to watch. It's really engaging, especially because these are the only 2 of Ash's Pokemon to have a personality like this. Though, I gave Sceptile credit where it's due and made it be on top of Snivy for this list, as it was the original. And come on, Sceptile has had such stupendous battles which you can't help but adore everything you witness on the screen, such as its battle against May's Blaziken and Tobias's Darkrai. Though, Snivy surprisingly performed excellent in battles as well. It's such a fierce Pokemon. And I'll even go ahead and say that I actually like how it uses Attract. It made for some exciting strategies. There's so much more I could say for these Pokemon, but I think it's best we now move on to the next Pokemon. Which if you thought Sceptile and Snivy were some of the coolest Pokemon ever, then let me tell you that number 11 Breezel and number 10 Crocodile radiate more cool than you can handle. Not only from the designs, which won't even wear sunglasses, but from their personalities as well. Like bro, it was so fun to watch these Pokemon display that cool energy. Much like Sceptile and Snivy as well, these Pokemon were tough in battle. Breezel being able to use staggering counter shields and moves, defeating the likes of Maylene Lucario and Paul's Gastrodon for example, while Crocodile had an even superior range of moves and defeated the likes of Aris's extremely powerful Dragonite and Stefan's type advantage Sork, for example. In fact, every single battle these Pokemon had were never a miss, but rather a banging hit, them being really entertaining. Collapsing into the number 9 spot, we have Snorlax, which I think it goes without saying that pretty much the reason why many people have a bundle of fun watching this Pokemon is because of how well built it is within battles, taking so many wins to its name. I could even name quite a few battles I enjoyed thoroughly just on the top of my head. such as Claire's gym battle, the Greta battle, Gary's battle, and even the sumo battle. And I'll stop there, otherwise I'll go on for too long. Not only that though, but this Pokemon does have a personality which makes you chuckle. Sticking for number 8 spot, we have Goodra, which despite it only appearing in like 20 episodes in total within the XY series out of 140, with 6 of them being a whole episode dedicated to it, it left such a surprisingly impactful experience within those 6 episodes and battles that I just fell in love with this Pokemon. By impactful, I mean that this Pokemon gained so much development within that short time, going from being such an easily frightened and weak Pokemon with a dreadful backstory to a very embracing, caring and strapping Pokemon who even conquered that terrible past to save a bundle of its friends. And then, after we grew such an attachment to this Pokemon because of that appealing development, it then got released. Which although many people were disappointed by this, I found this to be stellar storytelling, as not only was the excuse perfect and fit well with its character, but the writers managed to make me cry over this Pokemon that only had 6 episodes. Whereas I never cried over Pokemon like Butterfree and Pidgeot for example. I only felt sympathy for them. I mean, I felt like I would have been even more sad if it had been released towards the end of the XY series, but what we got, as you can clearly tell, was superb. Its overall story was absolutely brilliant. Taking the number 7 spot, we have a Pokemon which I believe is kind of underrated, as I barely see anybody talk about this Pokemon when it comes to ranking Ash's Pokemon for a top 10, which is Gliscor. And the main reason why I like him so much is because I believe he is an almost perfect combination of 2 types of Pokemon we've explored on this list. That being comedy relief Pokemon and Pokemon that receive a lot of development and end up becoming super strong because of that. Like seriously, he had so many laughable scenes such as crying over the most simplest of things and nearly breaking Brock's back, yet he also performed phenomenal in all sorts of battles, such as defeating Byron's Blastiodon and Paul's Drapion in the league, which had taken out 3 of Ash's Pokemon, which before those battles as well, Gligar had momentarily gained PTSD from a loss against Paul's Gliscor, being scared to compete in any kind of battle. Yet, when Gligar and Ash were kidnapped by Team Rocket in the same episode, Gligar showed it was determined to conquer its fears, allowing it to master X-Scissor and even evolve, it conquering that PTSD and having become stronger in the process, which was all very wonderful. Walking elegantly for the number 6 spot, we have Lycanroc, which jumping right into this, the first reason why I like this Pokemon so much is simply because it's based off a dog. And yes, I'm being 100% serious right now. I ain't just talking about the beautiful design it has either, but also its personality and behavior. That being that it's playful, affectionate, very loyal to Ash, like a real dog would be as man's best friend, and that it even gets upset when its fur gets dirty. Which, because I've been surrounded by dogs my entire life as a son of a dog breeder, I've seen dogs like that before, which I feel like many people should know that when it comes to this trait. I mean, obviously it was a bit weird to see him go berserk over it at first, gaining red eyes in the process which made it even more powerful, but of course, Ash managed to develop Lycanroc to calm down by reminding it of the times they always used to play in the mud when it was a Rockruff, which was something I really admired for this Pokemon's development. Dogs do sometimes actually have this weird phase after turning 1 year old where they do all sorts of silly actions before then fully maturing. So, yeah, this Pokemon was indeed one good doggo. For the number 5 spot, we have none other than Ash's first ever Pokemon, Pikachu, which ever since its compelling introduction episode, going from being a disobedient, mischievous Pokemon to a very loyal and loving Pokemon, I grew a fondness for it, which then only grew stronger and stronger within every new episode and series, much like Ash and Pikachu themselves. Which that bond is one reason why I like this Pokemon. It's by far the most heartwarming bond within the entire Pokemon anime. Outside of that bond though, this Pokemon does also have a very relatable ketchup addiction, cute looks, a personality that's almost exactly like Ash's, which is great, and perform spectacularly in battles. Well, most of the time, but we know why that's the case. So, aside from that, everything I've just gone over is why I hold a passion for this Pokemon. One last thing I do want to mention though, which is always unavoidable when I talk about Pikachu's character, is that his battle against Tobias's Latios and Alon's Persuader legendaries are my all-time favourite moments from this Pokemon due to the strong will this Pokemon showed with its strength and intriguing strategies. Keep on shining brightly, Pikachu. This next Pokemon I'm about to go over is a Pokemon I hated in the Pokemon games, but because of the Pokemon anime, I ended up adoring it, which is Hawlucha, it being number 4. Like, just this debut episode alone, which is by far the best introduction episode to an Ash Pokemon, made me become attracted to this Pokemon. If dropkicked an Ursaring, I proceeded to beat the shit out of it in just the first minute of the episode. That was breathtaking and an excellent display of its strength. Outside of that episode, Hawlucha still kept his unbelievable yet extraordinary strength. In fact, if anything, it just got even more bewildering to witness because of the training Ash and Hawlucha conducted. And we even got to see more of this Pokemon's proud, flashy, cool, and collected personality, which was always a joy to witness. God, I still remember that unexpected entrance it had for Sawyer's League battle. That was a great showcase of his personality. I love you so much, Hawlucha. And, with that said, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the final 3 spots. Which, I suppose many of you have already guessed which these 3 Pokemon are. And yes, it was very predictable and very cliche of me, as a majority of the fandom seem to like these Pokemon as the best as well. But there's no point in lying about not liking these Pokemon and placing them elsewhere on the list just to have made the list more interesting. So, yeah. And with that said, let's now jump into this. At number 3 we have Charizard, at number 2 we have Infernape, and at number 1 we have Greninja. Obviously the theme these Pokemon share, hence why I'm putting them together, is that they are both 1, without a doubt Ash's most powerful Pokemon ever, and 2, the Pokemon which received the most amount of development out of every Ash Pokemon. Charmander upon evolving had decided to now ignore Ash's commands in battles due to thinking it is so powerful now that it doesn't need no help from a trainer, yet it then started to respect Ash once again after Ash had helped it fall out Ice from a hard loss, despite it treating Ash like trash, which they then became such a powerhouse when working together, receiving only very little losses and defeating the likes of a legendary Pokemon for example, which that battle was outstanding. Chimchar had got abandoned by its original trainer and suffered PTSD, in which it then overcame that PTSD but then had to control an ability known as Blaze, which made it go berserk. Which ultimately, both Ash and Chimchar managed to control this ability and then get revenge on the original trainer during the league, which was sensational, it being the best Pokemon anime battle ever. And then as for Greninja, it simply competed in tremendous training, which then helped it evolve all the way into the robust Greninja, then gaining a one-of-a-kind form nicknamed Ash Greninja, which made it and Ash then start to win every battle in sight. However, the two started to get overconfident in this ability, along with Ash not having much consideration for the pain Greninja faced, but they then started to lose a lot. But eventually, they realized this and then become fully synced, mastering the form and destroying every single opponent in the Kalos League. Well, almost. Which all of this was just so hype-inducing. I was so invested in this story and felt so much exhilaration run down my spine upon watching Greninja absolutely wreck all these opponents. Obviously, there's a lot more development to these 3 Pokemon, however, that's what I say regarding that, so this already long video ends a little bit quicker. To wrap up these Pokemon though, obviously when putting this development aside, just their personalities as well were some of the most alluring ever. All of them giving off such an awesome and endearing vibe. I do truly believe that these Pokemon are exceptional, monumental, legendary. And that concludes my rankings. This was another long one, however, it was quite fun to make. Hopefully you think so as well. Do let me know in the comments down below what your personal favourite Ash Ketchum Pokemon are though. I love to hear, as we can have different opinions. And I love to hear all sorts. Next time for this ranking series, I'll 100% be doing a ranking on Ash's companions like I promised in the previous ranking video. If I'm to be honest, I just had more motivation to get this one done first. But anyhow, do stay tuned for that companion ranking. And as always, if you did enjoy this video, then please be sure to consider leaving a like, a share, and if you're new here, subscribe along with it to that bell icon to stay in loop with all things Pokemon anime related. If you want to support this channel any further away, I also have a Patreon. Thank you for watching everybody, this is Entity Maze, signing out.